Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm StarofWisdom.
And I'm your Asa.
It's Pokemon Black and White Randomizer, the series that still exists.
The weekly
hasn't-
chat.
Yes, weekly, every week. On Monday, 12:15 sharp. Weekly.
I thought it was just noon.
No, so YouTube did this weird thing a while back where they don't let me schedule for on the hour or half hour anymore. It's only on the 15-minute.
Nice.
So you can upload at 12:15 or 12:45, but not 12:30, not noon. And I don't know why they made that change. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I've tried Googling it, and they don't have any information about it. So
Weird.
anyway, yep, that's my fun insight into the back end of YouTube that I don't know why that decision was made, but it was made. So here we are. But yes, it's Pokemon. We took a couple weeks off because I was uploading a bunch of other Pokemon stuff, Pokemon battles that I had to get through. And now we are back on target. Going through this cave again. The cave never ends.
You're in the electric cave, right?
Yep, because I spent all of last episode just going in a big circle in it, and I'll see if I can remember my way through.
Right.
Right, acrobatics is not going to do anything. I don't know why I went for acrobatics, because it didn't have any health left. That was why. That was the strategy.
I'm also in a cave, but it's not very electric, and it's not getting me very excited either.
How do I can't remember how to get back to this. I feel like I want to be up there, but I feel like I'm going there the wrong way. Anyway, we'll figure it out. In the meantime, we've got some comments from a couple weeks ago now.
What if I told you my Magic just died and I lost the challenge?
Well, that would be a rip.
Well, good thing it didn't.
Yeah, that is good. That's a good thing it didn't. That Magius is the only thing keeping this run alive. It's literally the only Pokemon left. Yeah, I agree. I think that you're gonna get here with this Magius. It's gonna win the game.
I don't know if I have
But
enough
yes,
usage
Sorry, go ahead.
power. I don't know what PP stands for.
I think it's power points.
Power points?
It's essentially mana. It's
Yeah.
basically just mana, you know.
I don't know if I have enough
Alright, I
to
think
get
I'm
through
going
every
up these stairs.
Pokemon in the Elite Four, to be honest. Just switch up my moveset.
That's true. That the Elite Four is gonna be a challenge to run through with one Pokemon.
Because you can't go back unless you die.
No, you can't. I mean, you can bring lots of healing items to heal in between,
I
but
guess I could bring a bunch of, like, or I should just PP up my moves that I want to keep for sure.
probably, yeah.
Because I've got so much
I
money.
mean, what gym are you at? Did you just beat the 7th gym, or where are you currently? Have I not beaten
honestly,
this guy?
no. Anyway, sorry. The
Where am I
questions.
going?
I was excited for these
Yeah.
questions when they got posted like 2 weeks ago.
I'm trying to figure out. I thought I must have already gone this way, which is really confusing because I thought this was the way I hadn't gone. So that's good. Anyway,
I said,
our first
these
question comes to us
questions
from.
excite me.
Okay, great.
Did you say that too?
No, our first. I mean, they're fine. These are good questions. I just wasn't gonna say that they excite me because that's a way of saying things.
Okay. Sure.
But yeah, Griffin's question is if either of us have distinct memories from being at his house, whether that's epic playdate stories, birthday parties, or really any good anecdotes about playdates with friends. And I guess I do have. I'm trying to remember. I don't necessarily have specific memories of like events. Oh, here's N. Do I have to battle you? Don't make me battle you. I guess I have a dream. Alright, here's a battle. Well, cool. Anyway, yes, I don't think I have as many specific memories, but my main memory about Griffin's house is just the layout of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that was always really striking as a kid, and just, it was also a very fun house.
Yeah.
I think particularly because there was sort of a loop. So I don't want to give away too much of the layout of Griffin's house, but in vague terms, there's a loop where there's a way that you can go up the stairs, and then it goes up to the actual second floor, but then there's another staircase going down to another room on the first floor. So you can go, like, in a complete loop around the first floor, but then there's also a branching path that either gets you up to the second floor, or you can keep going to the first floor. And I just remember that was always super enjoyable as, like, for being able to, like, run around and do games and stuff. There were just, it always felt like it was this really interesting layout. And then from the second floor, you could get up into this attic, which was also really cool. And then it was just lots of ways to, like, split off into different rooms. I feel like we did, like, hide-and-seek type games a lot. And,
yes.
Oh, and then also, from that same staircase that went down into the kitchen, you could get down into the basement, and that basement exit went outside. So then you could, like, have another branching path going outside and then into the basement, and then that could go to the garage from the yard, and then it was a pretty safe area. It was, like, into an alley, so you could sometimes, like, get into the alley or around the street. And it was just, like, there were just, like, all these different directions you could go and spread out and move around in.
Yeah.
And without, and, like, lots of ways to hide and then, like, jump out at people. And so, yeah, that is the part that sticks out to me, basically, is the layout being super interesting.
I remember for sure those hide-and-seek games.
It was like tag / hide and seek, and then I feel like Griffin always had these not exactly Nerf swords, but like foam weaponry and stuff.
Yeah,
like
I think
there were various things that we were able to equip ourselves with.
Yes.
And yeah, it was just fun. a nice layout, a very cool house.
Yeah, I remember a specific time that has stuck with me, and I think I've mentioned it to both you and Griffin. A couple times, but I don't know if either of you remembered during the times that I brought it up. But he had this book, or this like series of books. It was like comics. There were no words. It was about this character named O, and it was just like a letter O. It was just this letter O.
Yeah, I actually do remember these books. Yeah.
And it went on.
Because that was another thing is,
Yeah,
I feel like sometimes we would just go over to Griffin's and hang out, and like, sometimes Griffin wouldn't even be there. I can't remember if they were just like babysitting us or something.
Right.
But like, I remember I have several memories of sitting there and just like reading his books and reading his comics, like not even doing anything, because I didn't have comics. We didn't have comics aside from like Bionicle comics. Right. But I remember reading Griffin's comics.
No, I remember for sure. What made this memorable is that what's going on here? There's people like in a circle twirling around. I just blocked them. But I remember for sure we would like sit on the couch and Griffin would be in the middle, and then like we would be on either side, and he'd like narrate what was happening in this O book, even though there were no words. And there were like 2 books probably. It felt like a lot, but it was probably just like 2. And then one time, I think there were like a number of playdates or whatever in between where we didn't look at the books. So it was like, oh, that chapter of my life is over, the O book chapter. But then he broke out the I book. There was a new character, and it was I. And I remember that was just like, yes, thank goodness we get to read these books about letters.
I do vaguely remember these comics. And,
yeah, I wonder if he still has them.
Entertaining. Also, another thing that always struck me was like, Griffin always had stuff on display in his room, and it always changed. So like, I feel like every time I went to Griffin's house, there was like new stuff on display really nicely, compared to our house, which was just constantly covered in dust.
Yes.
So that's another clear memory, is always going into Griffin's room and being like, oh, this is a good room. Why isn't my room like this? So yes, those are some of my memories.
Yeah. How about, I mean, I know the last part of his question was just more general stories of times from your childhood.
Other playdates with friends.
Anything that's particularly memorable?
I don't know. Well, because one of the things was we didn't go to many places as much as we had people over, mostly because of allergy issues. Like, there were very few friends that we could actually go to their houses, because if they had pets, I couldn't go there. So, that's, yeah, I think more often than not, it was either meeting up at parks with people, or having people to our house.
Right.
And then, occasionally, you know, I have to go over to this tower before I do the gym. Okay.
That said, I mean, we had some awesome times at parks.
Yeah. Well, there's this one park that's like I think it's called French Park. And it's this, like...
Well, that doxes us more than anything.
Well, we could be anywhere near French Park. Anyway.
We're in France, as they say in France.
Yes, France, French Park. Hello, welcome, French Park. We eat the baguette. No, French Park is this park that's basically built entirely out of nets, which is super awesome. Like, you can climb up the walls, you can fall off the walls, there's, like tunnels built out of nets that you can crawl through to get to other parts of the netted thing, and
yeah, it's pretty much the coolest freaking thing you've ever seen.
It basically is. Like, honestly, you haven't gone to a park until you have a park where you can actually fall for fun and you just get caught by a net. Like, you could intentionally fall off of stuff to get away from people, like, chasing you for tag or something. I played a lot of tag as a kid, if that's not evident. That was my game. But, yeah. So, yeah, that was... Yeah, no, cool parks, and then people with cool houses. But Griffin's does stand out in particular.
Yeah.
Because of that layout.
Yeah.
Like, there aren't as many houses that... Well, okay, I actually did have one other memory, which was I had a friend from, like, preschool. And his family lived in the church where the preschool was. And being able to run around that church was awesome. Because that's another... Like, if you're talking about maze-like enormous buildings with tons of space and places to hide and jump out at people, like, that church was top of the list.
Yeah.
It was, you know, big and all these rooms and things that branched off into other rooms, and that was also very cool.
It's pretty choice.
I was a fan of... Sure. That's something that people say still.
Choice church. I remember specifically one memory. We were at Griffin's, I think probably playing hide and seek. I don't remember if we played with Nerf guns at his house or not, but...
Yeah, that's what I can't remember. I don't think we had Nerf guns back then.
I don't think so, but it was some kind of projectile, because I think we were playing some kind of game on Teams, but for some reason I was hiding in his attic, and I heard him coming up the stairs, but given that, like, loop nature of his house, sort of,
right,
you can't really tell, like, where they're going, but I heard him. Then at one point, he, like, opened the door to the attic and, like, ran halfway up the stairs, looked directly at me, because I was looking, like, through these, like, the slats, like, of, like, the railing or whatever, looking through the, the vertical slats of the railing next to the stairs. And
I forgot. I could have encountered a wild Pokemon here, and I've already knocked it out. I just didn't care. Well, all right.
We're not doing that anymore, Jupiter. This is
no, I guess not.
Strictly, yeah. But he just yelled a bunch of gibberish at me, and then ran back down the stairs. I don't remember what he said, but that is a core memory for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
But yeah, unless you have anything else, we have several questions from Sam that we might not get through all of them in this episode since we're trying to keep the episodes a bit shorter. But then again, we also might. So the only way to find out is to start doing it. The first one is to tell an original fictional story alternating sentence by sentence, coming up with it on the fly.
Sentence by sentence or word by word?
Sentence by sentence. So, I mean, I think this is an okay idea, but with all the other questions that are also here, do we want to save this one if we have time and come back to it, or my question is, how particularly strongly do you feel about this prompt? I think it's going to be distracting for me, like trying to play through the game and coming up with fictional sentences, and I feel like mine are going to be really boring.
Yeah, let's come back to this one. I mean, I like it conceptually.
Right. It's a nice idea, but I don't know if it's going to fit particularly well with, like, actually trying to continue playing through the game.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Now, this is like a good writing exercise, but just speaking it out with only the two of us going back and forth. This is also the kind of activity that's bigger and, like, better with a larger group, I think. Mm-hmm. So, if we completely blank out on content, I guess we'll come back to sentence by sentence. Because, yeah, it is a good idea. How do I get up this ramp? Am I not supposed to get up this ramp on my bicycle? What? Do I have to not be on my bicycle? That would be weird. Okay, you do it not on your bicycle.
If anyone hasn't gotten it already, I'm really bad at... Oh, crap.
Bad at finishing sentences.
Yeah, that's another reason why I don't think the...
Right, we're not going to get distracted and not, like, be able to finish what we're talking about.
I'm particularly bad at... Okay, there we go. Puzzles in Pokemon gyms. Like, really bad. I think it's because I just don't think, and I just, like, do it over and over again, and I'm like, why do I'm going in circles. And I have been for 5 minutes.
Alright, well, if we're passing on this prompt for the time being...
Let's tell a one-sentence story, just to satisfy the prompt. There.
One-sentence story?
Yeah, there.
Alright, yeah, that was mine. It was a question.
What? I don't understand. Okay. Alright, next question.
Next question is weirdest/funniest/most embarrassing memory you have of your brother.
I think I know what your answer is, but I'm going to request that you don't. I think you've already shared
the one
it.
that came to mind for me is the one where I stab you with a pencil.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that the one you were thinking of or not?
No, I'll remind you of the other one after.
Okay.
But
okay. This is like
I think
this is an embarrassing memory.
Of your friends.
Yeah, this is like an embarrassing memory for myself, where we were just like messing around the way you do with a pencil. Oh boy!
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm gonna stab you, jokey jokey, and then Asa like dips behind a door, and so I can't see where he is, and I continue stab him with the pencil, jokey joke, like not actually trying to hit him, but he moves out of my sight, and I don't stop, and sure enough, I stab him right above the eye.
Well,
there's a piece
memory.
of pencil lead that gets stuck in the skin.
Yeah. So here's my memory: is that I think I was bothering you all day with a pencil. And
I think we were both just messing
pencil.
around.
This was not a mechanical pencil that I was bothering you with.
Just
but maybe we were both kind of antagonizing each other. But my memory is that I started it, and then I went to the library to do homework because back then we had dial-up internet, even in like I was in fourth
we had to go
grade.
to the library to have Wi-Fi that was fast enough.
So I was at the library for like 2 hours, and I came back, and as I was opening the door, you reach around the door. And with a mechanical pencil this time, thankfully, not a sharpened number 2 pencil, stabbed me right above my right eye.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mechanical pencil lead. Like, it stuck in and broke off. And, like,
left a gray spot.
All was well, but it did leave a gray spot, which I still have on my head today.
And looking back on it, it's just the dumb thing of, like, that could have easily been your eye, you know? I could have easily just stabbed out... Lesson of advice is, the point of that whole story, moral of the story is, don't blindly stab people if you're not trying to stab them.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that, like, you live and you learn as a child, but we're just lucky we didn't have to learn.
Right, we didn't have to learn. We just got to live it.
Yeah.
And all that happened was you got a permanent gray spot above your eye.
Yeah. So if you ever see me in person, be sure to first thing you say, let me see the gray spot.
Uh-huh. I actually think I know the other memory that you want me to not say, so I will not say it. I'm pretty sure I know
you can
what you're
say it
referring
if
to.
you want.
Is it the one where we were out in the yard with the rabbits and a hose was involved?
Oh, no, but I was about to say that one anyway.
Okay, yeah, you do that one.
Yeah, at our old house, I was just messing around with the hose. think I was like 4. I don't know how old I was, but, you know, it's got the nozzle on it, or like the thing that you press, or it's the hose attachment to water a garden.
Yeah.
It's got multiple, you can twist the, like, thing to have multiple different settings. And anyway, I switched it to, like, the high power, high pressure one. And I was like, whoa, this feels weird on my hand. So then I pointed at my eye, and pressed it, and my eye was bloody. My eye was a bloody mess, and I couldn't.
It shot his eye with so much pressure that it was literally bleeding.
I don't think I actually blinded myself. It was just a lot of blood.
Yeah.
So I had to have like an eye thing on my eye, but luckily I don't think that it impacted my vision. And it's just water.
No.
Oh, come on, water can't hurt anybody.
But yeah, just this concentrated jet of water into your eye. Which
Yes.
is like, yikes. That's a thing you don't want to have happen. But neither of us. So here's the thing: neither of us have ever broken a bone.
No.
Is one thing we should mention. We've never had such serious injuries that I don't think we've had stuff that has necessarily required medical attention. There was one time where you had to go in for a tetanus shot, I think, because of a rope.
Can we talk about that last time?
We talked about that in a Team Lock episode that won't be coming out for several months.
Yeah.
So we're gonna skim over that for now.
Looks like I spilled the beans.
I had one time as a kid where I spilled hot coffee on myself and had to go get treated for burns.
You had that other head-related thing, too, when you were young.
Yeah, I was like jumping into bed, but I like grazed. There was this thing that I would do where I would jump like right around the corner and land on the bed. But then one time I, grazed the corner, as would inevitably happen when you're jumping into your bed that is right next to a wall.
Yes.
And I like grazed my head on the corner of the wall, and there was lots of blood. Okay, well, my encounter for this area is a Swalot, but I've already had a Swalot in the past, so I'm just gonna pass on it for now.
This is a hairy situation, or a feathery situation, you might say.
Sure.
I am being leech-seeded every turn by this Braviary with Bounce and Skydrop. And I can't get a hit off of it because it keeps using Bounce or Skydrop. This kind of sucks.
Yeah, sometimes you end up in these like scenarios in Pokemon where it's just like, what do I even do about that? There's literally no answer. I kind of wanted to leave this place and heal, but I think I should just use a potion. So, yeah. Well, if you don't have any other memories that are that you really want to go over right now, I think we can move on to the next question.
Sure.
That was a good assortment of both of us doing less than intelligent maneuvers.
Yeah.
But hey, we never broke bones. We never broke bones.
Not breaking bones, but that also has a lot to do with putting yourself in situations where you would
That's
break
true.
a bone, and
Neither of us were like involved in sports regularly or in highly athletic moves. I climbed trees a lot, but I never fell out of a tree or anything.
yeah.
So, yep. All right, next question is most nostalgic video game. And
I was talking about a
I
friend
think-
about this yesterday.
I think I've said this on my channel before, but Link's Awakening is the first Zelda game I ever played. But even more than that, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, is like the first game that I ever played. So I think that is my most nostalgic video game.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, like, even today, I'm not a huge, like, I don't really play games so much in my free time as much as I like to do things with friends in my free time, and right now, a lot of that is kind of forced to be games. But a few games that I have nostalgic memories of as a kid where we played Twilight Princess with our dad, which was really fun. Just playing through that whole thing. And great, I'm paralyzed now. So I'll describe to you what I'm doing because obviously the viewers can see what I'm doing, but you cannot. I am down to 6 potions, technically 10 of varying kinds of potions. And I am waiting for this Braviary to run out of Skydrop and Bounce.
Fun.
So...
I think, here's the thing, I'm pretty sure Bounce only has 5 PP, and I think Skydrop also probably only has 5.
Well, they're using it a lot. So,
yeah.
I don't understand why it just cancels out my move, though. Oh, finally, I used
Cancel
Side
it out.
Strike. Okay, please kill it. Just please kill it in one hit. Oh, it didn't.
Spite! Seriously, they're gonna cut the PP of my move? I'm already running low on PP. This guy didn't even bother attacking me. He's just like, haha! How about you don't have PP left on that attack?
I'll just rattle some off. So Twilight Princess is a great one. What else? Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga is one.
Makes sense. Oh, he's got a Jirachi.
What else? Super Mario Bros. For the DS. It's a classic. Most Wii games. Okay, that was feathery situation, but I killed the Braviary.
Nice.
Oh, it's another bird Pokemon. Great. I don't know.
Wait, this Jirachi actually had Serene Grace? That's crazy. This Jirachi's ability didn't randomize. Or, it did randomize and it just got the same ability that it would normally have.
I don't really feel like I have a very nostalgic game from my childhood.
Like a very first game.
Yeah, no, for sure not a very first game. I mean, like the Pokemon
Because let's see, the first
games.
system you would have played on was probably the Game Boy Advance, huh?
No, I mean I probably played on the Game Boy, but I wasn't like very conscious of that.
What about Lego Star Wars Episodes 1 through 3 for the Game Boy Advance?
Was that a game?
Playing that game? Huh?
I remember that. Yes, yeah. That is probably. I remember playing that game. I would not say it's a game I'm nostalgic for.
Right, no.
But I do remember that game. I also remember the computer game. It was Star Wars Episodes 1, 2, 3 that we never played.
Yeah. The computer wasn't strong enough for it. Ooh, what about Bionicle Mask of Light for the computer?
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. That's
pretty nostalgic, right?
Yeah, that game and the that game was awesome. I would play that today, honestly. Like, you should play that on your channel.
I don't think I have a computer that can run it anymore.
Well, buy one.
No, I'm pretty sure that, like, you know, it's too outdated. You have to have an old computer to be able to run old applications.
Yeah.
We don't have anything outdated enough.
Yeah, but it was, maybe they'll re-release it on the Switch or something.
Why?
Anyway, yeah.
You know what? If you want to call my phone while I'm recording, you're just gonna have to deal with your phone number being on the screen. That's fine. It just like slides in from the top, like you're getting a phone call.
Yeah. So the Bionicle game was pretty great. What else? The other Bionicle game, where you just like clicked on stuff.
The online, yeah, like the online one that you played on their website. That one. That is like a good game because it's like there is a lot more to it than you initially expect there to be, and you like go around the whole island and you pick stuff up, and it's it's basically just a point and click game, but it's like it's done to the point where you have to go to like they didn't leave stuff out. It felt like a full experience, which was really cool.
It was like really like the art style was very reminiscent of like the comics that were released.
The comics, yeah. Yeah, like they put effort into it. You know, it wasn't just like some random Flash game where you like. There are cutscenes, and there's stuff where you suddenly like have to go back to this place, and they're like gearing up for this battle, and there's like there's that moment in the forest tribe, whatever they're called, where it starts playing Flight of the Valkyries, and you have to go into like this flying mission, and they're like, they have like the airplane sing. There's some like epic moments in that game. I genuinely enjoyed that game.
Right.
I don't know how we would be able to play it nowadays. It's probably somewhere.
I think
online,
we played
but
it. I think we played it kind of like somewhat recent. Like we were talking about it, and we were like, wonder if this exists, and we found it
somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I should play that on my channel. I would play that.
Ooh,
that would
an
be fun.
encounter. I don't want.
All right. Technically, we're half an hour into this episode. What do you think? Should we keep going with the rest of the questions, or save them for a future episode?
What are the questions? Let's just look at them.
We have a few more on the Supreme Court, magic tricks, and Star Wars. I think here's what we can do. I think we can keep going for now.
Okay.
Let's try to go for like, maybe we can get through these last ones in like 10 minutes.
Sure.
But yes, nostalgic video games. I think we pretty much covered that. Yeah, the next question is thoughts on the future of the Supreme Court in light of RBG. And yeah, because that was a big thing that happened right when we uploaded the previous episode, and of course it's now been several weeks since then.
Yeah.
And it has been a shit show. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. I mean, nothing
totally
good.
hypocritical disaster of the Republican Party. Merrick Garland, they delayed for several months
Yep.
getting him even like, I mean, they could have, I think the way it works is they could have done the hearing and they just wouldn't have confirmed him, but they just didn't even bother with the hearing. And it's like, yeah, it's just stupid. And the excuses that they pull out right now is dumb. It's stupid. It's just stupid.
I mean,
and I think if we do get this next person confirmed onto the Supreme Court, the thing is, the Supreme Court is not supposed to be partisan. They're supposed to be nonpartisan judges. But in reality, we all know that people have, like, there is a conservative wing of the court and there is a liberal wing of the court. That is the reality. That's not how it's supposed to be, but that is how it is.
Yeah.
And especially with tilting it in a more conservative majority, there are a lot of things at stake that will have very bad consequences if they get to have their way. And the reality is that, like, Trump is going to essentially get to appoint 3 justices to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
There was like so much idiocy around Kavanaugh, and that went through. And I honestly hate Mitch McConnell more than Trump when it comes to the Supreme Court. Just the things that he has done to like pack this court and pack other courts, so that, yeah, it's a disaster. That is my thought on the future of the Supreme Court.
Yep.
And
because it's going to be screwed up for years and years and years, no matter what the outcome of this election is.
I think the big thing that I'm seeing from here is that no Supreme Court justice, no governmental position should be appointed for life.
No.
Like, there should be a term limit on every Supreme Court justice. I think we should cycle out the entire current Supreme Court and get 9 new ones, and they should be elected every 4 years. And, you know, that's how it should be, because they have so much influence and so much power, and they're not supposed to. The Supreme Court is supposed to interpret laws, not set precedents. Yeah. But in reality, the way that they are able to interpret certain laws really changes things. And that goes for both conservative and liberal issues, you know?
Yeah,
and,
I mean, so... Oh, sorry if I interrupted.
Nope, you're good.
But, I mean, like, here's the thing, is obviously you can tell from listening to us that we share liberal views. And I was going to say, like, I mean, if it's going to be the unfortunate truth that the Supreme Court is not nonpartisan, that it's always going to be composed of liberal and conservative-leaning justices, then it should be, if there's 9 people, there should be 4 conservative judges,
it
4 liberal judges, and 1 consistently swing vote. And I think that's how it's operated in the past. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
We've been going with 5 and 4, where one of them has been sort of a swing vote,
but more so conservative.
He's more conservative,
yeah.
and especially with one liberal down and another conservative on, where it becomes 6-3, that swing vote doesn't matter as much. And also, I think he might feel more emboldened to not necessarily need to be a swing vote.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, so what I'll say is, I was going to say that would be the ideal, is if there's 4-4 and a swing vote. That would be the ideal, but the thing is just that the conservative ideology and the Republican Party is just unfit. I'm sorry to say it, but we are in a world that just can't afford it anymore, and
we can't. Especially the big issue is climate change and the perspective that
and no one's talking about that
had.
as much as they should be, Republican or Democrat, in this presidential election cycle.
Yeah, it's kind
which
of
is making me
the
mad,
wayside.
but because that is above all the thing that impacts everybody, and
we're all going to be
actually
dealing with
kill
it for the
us.
rest of our lives.
Yeah,
we're going to be dealing with it for the rest of our lives, and nothing is being done about it, and it's gonna suck. And that's how it is.
So
yeah.
I mean, ideally, we just, I don't know, talking about the future of anything related to our government is a little
difficult right
now. Because
it's all shaky. It's all up in the air.
Nothing's gonna look like it did a year ago, or 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, ever again.
No.
I don't think we're gonna get out of this without some form of extreme shake-up, revolution, and/or restructuring.
The reality is that
government.
our government has been failing for a long time. Under Republican rule and Democratic rule. I am not even necessarily a huge fan of things that recent Democratic candidates have done. It's better than Republicans, far and away.
But it's not enough.
But it's not enough, and that is the problem. Is we need to be making some drastic efforts for climate change to deal with it, and no one seems to be capable of just doing that, and it's a disaster. But
I think a lot of that is because a lot of them are going to be dead 10 years or under, and they don't.
Yeah,
really
I think that's another
understand.
reason why we need to, have some more term limits and get younger people into office, because there's so many people here who just don't have any empathy, and they don't have, they honestly don't have to deal with the consequences of their actions because they'll be dead, and so they don't care, and those are the people who are making some of the most important decisions facing our world. And I think this Togekiss is about to kill me. Nope, never mind, I lived. I think, going back more specifically to the Supreme Court, then there's all this conversation about, all right, so if they do manage to succeed pushing through this nomination that's completely hypocritical and dishonoring the memory of an incredible woman, while also trying to push through it in the midst of all the other scandal that is happening around senators being infected with COVID and forcing them to come in and do these unsafe votes. If that all happens, which signs point to yes, there is discussion about packing the court. And my opinion on that is that is a very dangerous move to make. I think that at that point, if the Supreme Court wasn't already in jeopardy at the point that you're packing the court, then it definitely is. And as an entity, there's just no faith in it at that point. If you can just change the court. I mean, they've changed the court in the past, and the reality is that packing the court will be a totally legitimate response if Republicans have done this again. At what other option do they leave? Do they leave people? Literally, what other option are you leaving them if they're gonna be this drastic and this stupid about it? But again, I think that it's either way, it's a disaster, and if it does come to packing the court as the only logical, the only option that works to bring balance back to this institution, it's a terrible thing for the courts, but that's also on the Republicans for pushing it to this point. And that's where we're at.
Yep. The Before we move on, if we are about to move on, I do want to clarify what I said about climate change being the thing that's actually going to kill us. I want to clarify that I, of course, understand that there are a ton of other issues that pose a higher and immediate, you could say immediate danger to, certain populations and that don't affect others as much. So I wanted to clarify that I'm not overlooking that. I think what I meant to say there is that climate change is the one thing that is not nearly being talked about enough, given its seriousness, and that it's the thing that's going to cause an extinction of humans and a lot of other species.
It's going to be. Climate change is nature's attempt to rebalance, and rebalancing may involve an apocalypse, basically.
Yeah.
And, signs are pointing to that with events that are caused by climate change. And you look at the wildfires in the West, you look at the increase in disastrous storms. Wildfires everywhere.
Which I know you mean, but it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not... It really isn't...
Rising sea levels, melting stuff.
And, this is something that of course, a lot of people knew that, a couple years ago we had this, 15-year ultimatum kind of thing. But as things get worse, that just gets closer, That 15-year thing is becoming like a 3-year thing, essentially. Or I think at the most recent estimate was 7.
I think we're past the point of we're going to experience symptoms of climate change. It's already happening.
Yes.
It's going to continue to happen. We're past that limiting point or whatever where we could have done something to stop some of it. At this point, anything that we do is playing catch up, and
we're suffering consequences.
We're still not doing anything. It's yep. So that's a great happy thing, but it's also reality, and I think if we're blind to reality, we are going to be in trouble. So those are my thoughts on the future of the Supreme Court in light of RBG. It's extremely sad that she passed away. I think I read somewhere that she was hoping to serve for at least another 4 or 5 years or something. There was some specific age that she really wanted to reach, and she did a lot of good stuff in the time that she was around, and she had to overcome a lot of hardships, and it's incredibly frustrating that in the death of this incredible woman, so many people's first reaction was not permitted to just be sadness. It was fear. And that is something that we cannot ever forgive the Republican Party for. They took this woman's legacy and they said, look, if she dies, then you all have to be afraid for losing a voice.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly sad that that's what happened. So, yep. So with that, what's a magic trick you always wondered how they did it?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, magic tricks. I've gone down my fair share of rabbit holes about magic on YouTube. David Blaine, I think, is the great magician of our time, and I mean, this is coming from someone who doesn't really know anything about magic, or magicianry. But I don't so much wonder how he does it, so much as just wonder. I mean, are you familiar with David Blaine?
Heard the name.
Yeah, I mean, so he's like that guy who's been on Jimmy Fallon, he's got a frog in his mouth. Look at that, he did it again. He's back for the 5th time, and guess what? He's got 2 frogs this time. But so that's David Blaine in a nutshell. But he's also done some kind of crazy things, he buried himself alive once and survived for some amount of time. I don't really remember what that was about, but he suspended himself above London Bridge in a tank of water and held his breath for 17 minutes. I don't know. He's just kind of a superhuman
magician.
kind of thing. A stunt magician, yeah. So it's you don't really wonder.
It's not just like it's not just that he's doing. It's not just that there's a trick involved, which there is still a trick involved, but there's also some superhuman feat being performed that you would expect of like an athlete.
Right, and you don't ever wonder like how he does it, because he's gone on record several times, like of actually how he does it. He's just like, yeah, I kind of just set my mind to it, and I figured out how to hold my breath for 17 minutes, and it's like, okay, but you also kind of wonder as an average human being, like, or as someone who doesn't do that, like, why and like how, you know, at the same time. That said, I never really figured out how they could do that thing with like the deck of cards, with like choosing your card. Like, how do they do that?
It has to do with basically if you're not doing kind of the cheap way of planting a card and having some way of marking it and like keeping track of it. It's either marking it, or if you're not specifically marking it, finding some other way of keeping track of it.
Right.
And being able to count the deck and just yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's all about that like logic or whatever, and just observational skill, and what's the other thing that they always say, like
misdirection.
Misdirection, yeah.
Misdirection is a big part of it. It's just, you know, doing a trick right in front of you by putting your attention somewhere else. And it's,
yeah, that's what it all boils down to. But again, that David Blaine guy, some of the card tricks that he does are kind of crazy. Like, he does it over and over and over again and keeps like switching it up, like, but then guess what? All the cards were blank the whole time except for this one. I don't, like he did that. And I don't know. So he's always fun to watch. You know, it's like I always get that there's something behind it, but it's definitely fun to watch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think the thing with Magic for me is there's never been a particular trick that just like bothers me. I'm like, I don't understand, because I don't have to understand the specifics to understand that there is a trick. You know, like and so because of that understanding that there is some bit of knowledge, I think it's the same way that I can look at. I've been watching this YouTube channel, The Hacksmith, and they go through and like build stuff from movies and comic books and stuff, and like it's the same way that I can see them build these things and be like, that's really cool that they're building it, but not understand how they're building it, but understanding that there is science and knowledge and experience behind it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And that's kind of my approach to magic tricks, is like, yeah, I don't really understand how you did that, and it makes a cool effect, a cool illusion, it's a cool trick, but I understand that there is experience and practice, and in several instances of tricks, there's like actual setup ahead of time that, you know. So that I would say that Magic has been something that I do enjoy watching the trick being performed, but I don't actually feel like this burning curiosity to understand how they do it.
Well, sure, yeah, no, I get that, but here I'll present you an example to see if you can explain it, and if you think this is the same kind of thing where there's preparation, science, setup behind it. So in Harry Potter, Episode 1, the Sorcerer's Stone, they're all in the Quidditch pitch. Neville's there, Ron, Hermione, Draco Malfoy, and of course our titular protagonist, Harry Potter. And they're all saying, up, up, up. And what are they saying? Up. Why are they saying this? And there's like brooms on the ground, and all of a sudden one of the brooms leaps up into Draco Malfoy's hand. How'd they do that?
Yeah, that's, you know, you got me there.
How'd they do that?
I have no answer for
Specifically in the movie. I know it's all fake, but how'd they do that in the movie?
Yeah, like in the lore?
No, just how'd they get like the child actors to be able to levitate, like actually levitate, like how they did it in the book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I have no advice, no explanation for that one.
Yeah, whoa, Reshiram just took N.
Oh yeah. Dang, you're at the legendary stuff?
Yes.
Alright, well, we've definitely gone for another 20 minutes beyond what we said already.
What's
so
the
as
last
long as we're here,
Yeah.
let's fill in the last question, which is another Star Wars question, which is, what did we think of the Rey-Kylo kiss in Episode 9?
That was weird. I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of...
I hated it.
That's a mess.
That was stupid.
Yep.
There was no reason. Like,
yeah.
What else can I say about this?
I mean,
they had hinted at some sort of romance between Rey and Finn also, and then just Kylo. Kylo was an evil character, and he redeems himself way too much in Rey's eyes by the end of that movie.
Yeah.
And for that to be anywhere near appropriate. Like, that was completely out of place. There was no reason for it, and I disapprove.
Yeah, at that point by the movie, I think I was kind of tuned out. I was just thinking about that I wanted Mace Windu and Yoda and Anakin and Obi-Wan to show up to help Rey fight
We want to see the Force Ghost.
But then she just, like, killed him in 10 seconds, and that was a little...
Yeah.
By that point, I was just hardly taking in what I was seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yep, it was stupid. That was my thought. And there were people who were, like, you know, shipping them together, but I don't think anyone actually thought that the plot was going to try to ship them together, because it doesn't make sense. It's literally the villain who has done evil things. He cannot be redeemed to the point where our main character... The biggest issue that I have with that kiss is it doesn't give enough credit to Rey, like, as a character. They're like, oh yeah, Rey would fall for him, and it's... No! This is just stupid! It's just stupid. Like, you can have Kylo have a change of character, but not to the point where it's romantic. That's overkill. I mean, at least not without another movie of setup. Like, maybe if Kylo had changed in Episode 8, maybe then you could have maybe started establishing that arc. But no, it's bad.
Yep.
That is my reaction.
Ooh, the Tactical Machine Shop.
All right. Well, I'm in the middle of the Mistralton gym. I don't know if you are in the middle of something, or if you're in a good spot to stop. But we have gone for almost an hour, so we probably should wrap it up here.
Yeah, I'm fine whenever. I didn't really take in what people were saying to me after I left the Relic Castle. Whatever that place was called. So I'm just kind of running around, so I'm good to...
Sounds good. I think we will wrap it up there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your questions. Thanks for sticking with the series, and we'll be back with more next week. And anything you have to say? Any final words?
No.
Okay, goodbye.